I talked about the power of our hands in Qigong, but now I want to talk about the power of the feet. And the feet connect directly with the earth Qi. And the earth Qi is yin in nature, and the feet are very significant in that sense that we draw the Qi up through the bottom of the foot. If you think of the center point of the ball of the foot, that's the Yongquan points, that's where the Qi enters in through our feet. So a lot of times in Qigong, we have movement with the feet, and that stimulates these points and activates it so that the Qi will flow up through our legs and flow up through our body. So equally important is the hands, the feet, and the head. But we're talking about the feet today. And one of the first things I like to do is align the posture when I begin Qigong. And we typically have the feet straight and the hips forward, the tailbone forward. Now if you have the feet outward, and you put the tailbone forward, they don't sit right. So we keep the feet parallel and tilt the foot, move it forward, not thrust it all the way, but just forward, and a slight bend in the knees. So that makes it so as if we're sitting on our feet, and this is like the center stone of a bridge, the hips. Once you get that, the abdomen crunches in a little bit and the back rounds. And that helps the feet to ground into the ground. So the weight is stable on your body. When you have that base, the Qi flow flows up stronger in all of the practices. Now we have up and down movements typically in Qigong. And when I go down, I usually, not in all exercises, but often we breathe out. And mentally breathe out, and my mind goes down to the lower abdomen, my feet press into the ground. So there can be a slight pressing of the feet as you sink down. I call it sinking, as you sink in the Qigong movement. As I sink down, there's a little grip of the toes, the heels, and all the contact points of the feet connect. I also pressurize, it's not too tight, but just a little bit of a pressure in the lower abdomen as I breathe out. And that helps me to root. And that's an interesting word, root, because if you can put your mind 9 feet into the ground, it's as if when you sink, you don't just sink to the ground, you root in, and then you're stable. And if you have the right posture and the feet are rooted, you'll see like in the Tai Chi moves, people can lift up their knee and kick. But you can kick because the foot is rooted deeply in the ground. And of course when you kick at that point, the foot's at a 45. But otherwise we have the feet parallel. And that helps us to root. The toes press in, the heels, the sides of the feet. And another practice that I do is as I go down, I root the entire foot, the heels are rooted, but as I rise up, I press the ball of the foot. That way I'm stimulating the movement in the feet. As I go back, the weight shifts mostly to the heels, and as I rise up, I press the ball of the feet downward, and I breathe in. So the energy's pulling up. It's like pumping. Going down and up is like a Qi pump. Another thing I want to teach you is when I sink, instead of just thinking of bending the knees, what I learned in Wudang Mountain is that if you collapse the abdomen in, instead of bending the knees, it causes the knees to bend. And then when you rise, I press the feet and I draw up straight from the head. So my body stays straight, and I press the feet into the ground, I press the toes. And that changes it, the rising and the sinking. So when you get that feeling, there's not as much effort, there's not as much pressure on the knees. I'm pressing the feet and pulling up the hip, and that's how I'm rising. Then I sink collapsing in the abdomen, and rise, sink, and rise. The other thing that you may discover in Qigong is that sometimes we're moving left to right. When we're moving left to right, we want the knee to trace over the toe. So I'm standing straight, I'm shifting the weight to one side. As I shift the weight, I make sure my knee goes in line with my toe pointing straight so I don't hurt my knee. And I shift the weight 90% so that I could actually lift up the other foot. Then I rise from the toe to the ankle, to the knee, to the hip, and then I go down to the other side. So that's like threading the joints. When you go down to the foot, then you go to the ankle, you go to the knee, you go up the leg, up the hip, and then down to the other side. Same as if you're going straight up and down. You're threading through both feet, the ankles, the knees, the thighs, the hips, down. But if you're going left and right, instead of quickly doing it, get the motion so it moves up and then moves down, moves up and down. So I don't want my knee to turn, I want it to go straight, and not too far over the knee if you're beginning. You don't want to hurt over the toe, you don't want to hurt your knee. Pulling it up straight and down. And the idea is all to help us, with the body and connecting with that earth chi, pulling it up. As we breathe in, exhaling, compacting it down, pulling it up, compacting it down. So this gives stimulation in the feet, and that helps the chi flow